So this is my Earth Cycle summative assessment. So the article I read, it was about how oceans on the U.S. coastline are becoming more acidified due to an increase in carbon emissions, and as a result, marine life is getting threatened. So this change in ocean impacts not only marine life, as they are getting dissolved and shells become weaker, but there is a transfer of carbon from the marine life to the surface ocean, which goes directly to the atmosphere. This means that the increased carbon emissions will go directly to the atmosphere eventually. Increasing carbon in the atmosphere is harmful to our health, which is common knowledge to many of us. The increased carbon emissions is killing off animals. This is not only taking away innocent lives, but we will always need animal remains to create carbon in the deep ocean. Without that, we wouldn't be able to extract carbon from the deep ocean because there wouldn't be any. We'll always need the animals to help us create carbon. The impact that the increased carbon emissions bring is also evident in the water cycle. Plants grow much faster with the increased carbon dioxide, but will stop growing if there are not enough of water, sunlight, and nutrients, which are also necessary, regardless of how much carbon there is. There are already many water shortages around the world, as well as lack of rainfall, so plants aren't able to grow as much with the increased carbon anyways. Also, with climate change being an effect of increased greenhouse emissions, plants have to change their growth patterns and they aren't used to that, so growth of plants is changing. Not only that, but there's less groundwater available as well. Groundwater refills slowly, and people are taking out more than what is coming in. Due to these reasons, plant growth is less, and so is transpiration. The ocean, which could be substituted for the body of water, lake, has water that eventually gets evaporated and comes down to earth in the form of rain. When the acid is in the water, it's called acid rain. Acid rain is very harmful. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, acid rain can be extremely harmful to forests. Acid rain that seeps into the ground can dissolve nutrients, such as magnesium and calcium, that trees need to be healthy. Acid rain also causes aluminum to be released into the soil, which makes it difficult for trees to take up water. The acidic clouds and fog strip important nutrients from their leaves and needles. This loss of nutrients makes it easier for infections, insects, and cold water to damage trees and forests. Not only that, but acid rain is known to cause disease such as pneumonia and bronchitis because particles from acid rain enter our lungs. Worse, acid rain reduces pH levels in bodies of water. The aluminum from soils ends up in oceans, lakes, and streams eventually as well, as seen on the water cycle. This causes severe harm to marine creatures such as phytoplankton, rainbow trout, frogs, salamanders, and crayfish. So the acid rain comes down, but also it gets percolated to the ground and eventually goes back into the ocean, which again is harming marine life. So these are some of the effects that result from acid rain. So as you can see, this is what is happening to the poor fish. These are the effects that it has on the leaves, and this is what happens to some of the trees as a result of acid rain. So there are some possible ways to solve this issue though. We should consider using alternative fuels, such as biodiesel, bioalcohol, which is methanol, ethanol, and butanol, chemically stored electricity, batteries and fuel cells, hydrogen, non-fossil methane, non-fossil natural gas, vegetable oil, propane, and other biomass sources. Fossil fuels are what is causing the greenhouse effect, and to reduce those will save animals as well as ours. So these are the alternative fuels that are being used the most right now, so we need to encourage more use, such as electricity, propane, and ethanol are being used a lot, so we need to continue the increased use of those types of fuels. So public transport is also a great way for people to use their cars less, which emits gases into the atmosphere. Not only are public transport vehicles able to hold lots of people, but they are more environmentally friendly as well, such as buses and metros. Bicycles are a very environmentally friendly way for people to travel. Citizens should be encouraged to use these types of transportation heavily. Thank you for listening to my presentation.